Okay, let's dive right in. I want you to picture this. You see a post on social media, it's going viral, and it's from a patient's family member. They're criticizing your care, they've named you, and they've listed all these clinical details that are just completely wrong.
Mm.
You know the truth. Your reputation is taking a hit right there in public. And you could, type out a correction in minutes that would set the record straight.
Yeah, the temptation is huge.
But if you do, you risk your entire professional registration. It's such a high-stakes dilemma.
It is, and that scenario gets right to the heart of it. The fundamental truth, the absolute core of this, is that public criticism, no matter how unfair it feels, does not, and I mean does not, relieve you of your duty to respect patient confidentiality.
And that duty is what we're unpacking today. We're going to get into the specific GMC guidance for doctors, for PAs, for DAs when you're facing this kind of public fire.
Exactly. This is all about the high-yield actions that protect you.
So let's start with the big principle here. Why is this duty of confidentiality so absolute?
Well, it's not just about keeping a secret for the sake of it. It's the absolute central pillar of the doctor-patient relationship.
The foundation of trust.
The foundation of trust. I mean, if patients think their personal health information might get disclosed, they'll just stop telling us things. They might not even come in for help, or they'll, downplay critical symptoms.
And if one doctor breaks that trust, it sort of damages it for everyone. The whole profession pays the price.
That's the risk, which is why the guidance is so clear. It views maintaining public trust in the whole profession as the absolute priority, and that outweighs an individual's desire to publicly defend themselves.
Okay, but that just feels so counterintuitive, doesn't it? If someone goes public with damaging lies about you, your hands are tied.
They pretty much are. The rule is you must not put information that you learned in confidence about any patient, and that includes former patients, into the public domain, not without their explicit consent.
And here's the kicker, right? Even if the patient is the one who has breached their own confidentiality by posting about their care,
it still doesn't release you. That's the part that catches so many people out. Their breach doesn't cancel out your professional duty.
Wow. So you really are expected to just take the hit.
In many cases, yes. And what's really interesting is that the GMC guidance points out that even getting into a public argument, even if you don't reveal any details, can make things worse.
How so?
It can just prolong the conflict. It can look like you're grandstanding, and that itself undermines public confidence. So the safest, most professional thing to do is always containment, not winning an argument online.
Okay, so if the why is protecting trust, let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. What's the step-by-step framework the moment you see that damaging post?
The first step, and honestly this takes so much discipline, is do nothing.
Nothing public, you mean?
Exactly. Don't type a reply.
Yeah.
Don't engage. You have to fight that immediate emotional urge to defend yourself. Your first action is internal.
And what is that action?
You seek expert advice. Immediately. You call your defense organization, your indemnifier, or a solicitor. They're the ones who understand the legal side, the precise wording you might need, and how to keep you away from a fitness to practice hearing.
Delaying that call is the classic trap, then.
It's a huge pitfall.
Mm-hmm.
You need their guidance, not your own emotional response driving your actions.
Okay, so you've made the call. Let's say they advise that you do need to say something publicly because the story is gaining traction. What is the safest, most limited thing you can say?
In most cases, you should limit your statement to a simple explanation of your legal and professional duty of confidentiality.
So you're essentially shifting the focus. You're not talking about the case, you're talking about the rules.
Precisely. You're saying something like, I'm aware of the post, but my professional code strictly prohibits me from discussing patient care in a public forum. You're explaining why you're silent.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating for me, the denial trap. Because if an allegation is just flat out false, your instinct is to deny it. But the guidance says even that can be a breach. How?
Through inference. This is the deepest, trickiest legal and ethical minefield in this whole area.
Yeah.
It's about what you reveal indirectly.
Okay, can you give us an example?
Sure.
Well,
Let's say a patient claims online, Dr. Smith ignored my diagnosis of condition Y. If Dr. Smith then replies, I strongly deny treating any patient for condition Y on that ward that day. What have they just done?
They've just inferred that the patient does have condition Y. You've confirmed a piece of confidential health data.
Exactly. You've confirmed the other half of the story is true. And the GMC sees that as just as much of a breach as if you'd stated the diagnosis yourself. A simple, vague, expert-vetted denial is all that's ever permitted, if anything at all.
So it's much safer to avoid the specifics entirely. Which brings us to what's called the general exception, right?
Yes. If the criticism is causing, say, general concern about the standards in your department, it might be appropriate to give some general information about your normal practice.
So how do we draw the line? What's an okay general statement versus one that crosses that line? An okay statement focuses on protocol, something like, while I can't discuss any individual case, I can confirm our department adheres to all national safety standards for this procedure. That's fine. And what would be an inappropriate one?
An inappropriate one would be something like, we follow the protocol perfectly, so the patient must be mistaken. That gets too close to the specific case and risks inferring details. You have to stick to high-level institutional quality.
Right. To make this all stick, you have a kind of memory hook for this, don't you?
I do. I always tell people to visualize confidentiality as this massive, impenetrable vault door. Public criticism is just someone knocking loudly on it, trying to get you to come out and argue.
And your job is to stay inside.
Your job is to stay inside the vault and just post a little note on the door that says, sorry, rules say I can't open this, or talk about who's inside. That vault door never ever opens without explicit patient consent.
I like that. Stay inside the vault the second you crack it open. Even to shout a denial, you've breached it. Okay, let's run through a few classic scenarios, the kind you might see in an exam. So do it. Pattern 1. An emotional family member criticizes you online, listing specific details about a patient's care, what's being tested there. It's testing whether you can prioritize that GMC duty over your own frustration and your personal reputation.
And the best action.
Contact your indemnifier first. And if you have to respond, you stick strictly to a statement about your duty of confidentiality. Perfect. Okay, pattern 2. The criticism is really inaccurate, and it's damaging the reputation of your whole department. Other patients are getting nervous. So this is testing if you know the line between general information and patient specifics.
Exactly. So the best action is
to provide that general, reassuring information about the department's normal safety standards. You lean on that general exception, making sure absolutely no patient details are included.
right. How about this one? A journalist calls you, says they have multiple sources confirming an error was made, and they want your side of the story.
That's a pressure test. Can you resist the media pressure and wait until you've had expert advice?
Yes. And the best action is to not engage right away. You state your professional duty prevents comment and that you have to consult legal counsel.
Okay. This brings us to the common traps. The things that sound reasonable but will absolutely lose you marks in a professional judgment scenario. Let's hit them. Trap number 1. Ignoring the criticism completely. Why is that sometimes wrong? Because widespread media reports can cause genuine public concern. You might need to make a statement about your professional duty or provide that general reassurance to maintain public confidence in the service as a whole. Right. Trap 2. Disclosing just one tiny detail to prove the critic wrong. That's an easy one. Any disclosure without consent, no matter how small, is a breach. There's no such thing as a minor breach here.
Exactly. Trap 3, delaying seeking advice. We covered this, but it's so important. These are complex legal matters. You need an expert in your corner immediately.
Absolutely. Okay, what about making assumptions about the patient's motives? Thinking, oh, they're just after compensation.
That's a professionalism failure. Your job is to adhere to the guidance, not to judge the patient's intent. Your duty is absolute, regardless of what you think they're doing.
Perfect. Okay, rapid fire time. Let's put this into some really quick action steps. A former patient criticizes you on Twitter.
Consult your defense body immediately. Do not engage first.
The media asks for your side of the story on a general failure, like waiting times.
You provide general information about standard protocols. You use the general exception, no patient details.
Your solicitor says you must issue a denial to protect your registration.
You make sure that denial is simple, vague, and reveals zero personal information, especially by inference.
Excellent. So let's pull this all together. What are the 3 key takeaways from this deep dive? Okay, takeaway number 1. Confidentiality is paramount. It is not waived just because someone criticizes you publicly. It is an absolute duty.
Your first and best action is always to seek expert advice from your defense body or a solicitor. Immediately. Their legal expertise is more important than your own judgment in that moment.
And third, any public response you make should be extremely limited. You either just affirm your duty of confidentiality or you provide very general institutional reassurance, totally free of any patient specifics.
And, this whole thing makes it so clear that fighting a public battle, even if you do it carefully, risks making everything worse and undermining confidence in the profession. It really does, and it leaves us with that really tough question for every clinician out there. When does defending your own personal reputation start to damage the reputation of the profession as a whole? It's a fine line. Remember, the professional judgment here requires a kind of emotional detachment. Your primary duty is to protect the patient's trust, even when it feels like they're attacking yours. Keep that professional discipline sharp.